what are you going to talk about tonight?
Well, actually, I'm going to talk about destroying democracy, because apparently Democrats are running on the fact that Republicans are destroying democracy. But you know what democracy is, Brian? Democracy is a government for the people and by the people, and it's really the Democrats who are destroying democracy.
Hello and welcome to What the F*** Just Happened Today, your essential guide to the daily shock and awe in national politics. I'm Joe Amditis. Let's get to it. It's Thursday, November 3rd, 2022. Welcome to day 653. Joe Biden called the midterms a defining moment for democracy as the ultra-MAGA Republicans are trying to, quote, succeed where they failed, end quote, in subverting the 2020 elections with threats of political violence and voter intimidation. Quote, we can't take democracy for granted any longer, Biden said from Union Station in Washington, steps from the U.S. Capitol where a mob attempted to interrupt the certification of his 2020 elective victory. Biden also condemned Trump and other Republicans for encouraging political violence, voter intimidation, and promoting the, quote, big lie, end quote, calling it unprecedented, unlawful, and un-American to, quote, love your country only when you win, end quote. Biden argued that Trump had undercut the rule of law, saying, quote, American democracy is under attack because the defeated former president of the United States refuses to accept the results of the 2020 election, end quote. Biden added that Trump, quote, refuses to accept the will of the people. He refuses to accept the fact that he lost. He has abused his power and put the loyalty to himself before loyalty to the Constitution, and he's made a big lie an article of faith for the MAGA Republicans, a minority of that party, end quote. Meanwhile, Obama warned that, quote, democracy as we know it may not survive, end quote, if Republicans win in Arizona, saying that's not an exaggeration, and adding that is a fact. In Arizona, all but one of the 13 GOP nominees for federal or state office have denied or questioned the results of the 2020 election. If the GOP ticket were to win in Arizona, it would mean, quote, election deniers serving as your governor, as your senator, as your secretary of state, as your attorney general, end quote. Meanwhile, some House Republicans have embraced plans to reduce federal spending on Social Security and Medicare if they take control of the House and Senate. Republican leaders claim that cutting benefits is necessary to rein in government spending. Their proposals include raising the retirement age for Social Security and Medicare up from 67 to 70, as well as increasing the premiums for health coverage. Quote, they're coming after your Social Security and Medicare in a big way, Biden said, holding up a Republican plan that would also require Congress to reauthorize social safety net programs every 5 years. Quote, it goes out of existence if Congress doesn't vote to keep it, Biden said, calling the proposal, quote, so outrageous you might not even believe it, end quote. At the same time, America's billionaires have spent a record $880 million on the 2022 midterm elections so far, and most of their spending has been in favor of Republicans 3-2. And spending on state and federal races during this cycle have already passed the inflation-adjusted record of $7.1 billion in 2018 and are projected to exceed $16.7 billion in total. The top 1% of donors measured by income have contributed about 38% of the total amount of money spent. And finally, the Justice Department granted immunity to a Trump aide in exchange for his grand jury testimony in the Mar-a-Lago documents case. Kash Patel appeared before the grand jury last month and refused to answer questions from prosecutors by repeatedly invoking his Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination. A federal judge, however, granted Patel immunity from prosecution on any information he provides to the investigators and compelled him to testify. Prosecutors had argued that there was no reason that Patel would be prosecuted based on the kinds of questions they were asking. Patel's grand jury appearance has not yet been scheduled. That's all for now. You can find the links and sources for all of these stories on the main website. And as always, visit whatthefjusthappenedtoday.com for the latest news and headlines. Until next time, I'm Joe Amditis.